move on. Emily Munroe, Director of Partnerships and Programs, 880 Cities.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for letting me speak to you today. As the chair mentioned, my name is Emily Munroe, and I am the Director of Programs and Partnerships at 880 Cities. I'm here representing that organization, and just to give you a little bit of background, we're a Toronto-based not-for-profit organization dedicated to creating vibrant and healthy communities for people of all ages, regardless of their age, gender, ability, or social status. We believe that these cities like that can be achieved by creating cities that are walkable, bikeable, and have great vibrant streets and public places. We chose the name 880 Cities based on a very simple idea that if you create cities that are great for 8-year-olds and great for 80-year-olds, then you'll create cities that are good for everybody else. Now, today, of course, in light of the Bike Network update, I would like to speak to the issue of improving bikeability in Toronto for all residents. However, before moving on, I would like to preface my words by saying that at 880 Cities, we truly believe that the needs of pedestrians must come first in our cities. And, of course, we would ask the committee to use this lens while considering any developments related to bikeability and otherwise. I would also like to note that many projects that prioritize pedestrians, such as option number 1 for the John Street Reconstruction Project, where traffic calming measures could be used to keep speeds very low, below 30 kilometers an hour, would be a win for cyclists as well as the city as a whole. What I would like to speak to you about today is the 3 keys that 880 Cities thinks would be very helpful for the City of Toronto in terms of bikeability. As an organization, we've had the opportunity to travel around the world, and we investigating bikeability, and we've worked with international firms such as Gale Architects and Alta Planning on city bike plans. Through this work, we've identified 3 things that we think would make Toronto a very inviting, safe city for people of all ages and abilities. The first one, which I don't think has been mentioned here today, is reducing speeds on neighborhood or local roads to 30 kilometers an hour or less. This is a really important step in terms of creating a bikeable city, and it also happens to be fairly easy for cities to implement. This means reducing speeds on local roads to below 30 kilometers an hour by using traffic calming measures such as speed bumps to ensure that cars cannot drive quickly. This change is incredibly important for our cities. According to the World Health Organization, pedestrians have a 90% chance of survival when struck by a car traveling at 30 kilometers or below. If you increase the speed only slightly to 45 kilometers an hour, the chance of survival is less than 50%. By reducing speeds on roads, you create safe, welcoming environment for cyclists and pedestrians alike, while having a fairly minimal effect on traffic, since local roads are intended to create access to property rather than traffic movement. Number 2 on our list is creating a physically separated bikeway network on arterial roads. What 880 says is that there's no such thing as a bikeway, there's only a bikeway network. And this is really, really important, so I would encourage you to pay attention for 1 second. So let me give you one very brief analogy. Our analogy is, let's say you want to build a football field for your community. And imagine if in the first year, the city decides to lay the sod for 1 end zone and put up 1 set of goalposts. Now imagine if in the second year, they decide to paint the 50-yard line. Then, in the 3rd year, the city decides not to build the 2nd end zone or the goalposts and decides to scrap the project because nobody was using the field. That is exactly the same as a bikeway network. You absolutely need a minimum grid for it to be useful. You need to commit to building a minimum grid within a reasonable amount of time that is comfortable, convenient, and connected. In terms of downtown Toronto, that means at least a connected network of protected bikeways that includes 2 east-west routes and 2 north-south routes, as well as important connection points such as the Bloor Viaduct. Now, in Toronto, we're in a very lucky situation, so we've added a number 3, which is to make safe, convenient, and accessible access points to greenways and recreational trails. We see this as a complement, not as something that replaces on-street biking, but in the City of Toronto, this is a great opportunity for us. The City of Toronto has an incredible opportunity to improve bikeability by using a small amount of resources to improve the connection to the existing trail network. We've worked with communities such as Thorncliffe and Flemington, and we realized the great potential improving trails connections to the Don Valley would create for these communities. It would provide recreational options as well as active transportation options for two of Toronto's more isolated communities. In terms of trails, basically 80%...
Can I ask you to finish up?
Yes, sorry. Am I over?
You are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. So I have one thing. In conclusion, I would like to ask that members of the committee ask yourself a really simple question, which is, who do you want biking in your city? If you want athletic, predominantly men biking in your city, then you can just keep doing what you're doing. If you want women and children and older adults to have a safe, affordable, and healthy mobility option, then please concentrate on the 3 things that I listed previously.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Miroslav, pardon me, Councilor Layton.
I'm intrigued by the football analogy, and I just wanted to extend it one. So, by not completing sections of the separated bikeway network, we clearly would be building half the field.
Yeah.
In the same way, do you think that if we build part of a bike lane, but not the whole bike lane, and then complain that it's not being used enough or it goes to nowhere, is it then, is the solution taking out that section of bike lane?
No, the solution is to commit in advance to creating a full grid. I think continuously the situation with bike lanes is that, another analogy that the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If you have a bike lane, be it separated or not, that crosses an arterial and there's no safe way of crossing a significant intersection like College and Yonge, you've got a serious problem. But the thing that you need to commit to is creating that connection.
Thank you.